Unlocking the Miraculous, 7 Divine Secrets of Neville Goddard Revealed for True Manifestation. In the quaint village of Eldon Grove, where rolling hills met the sky, Sarah's voice rang clear and bright every Sunday. A beloved mother of 2 and the church leader, she often spoke of unwavering faith and the miracles that could sprout from the heart. Yet, those very teachings were put to the test as Sarah faced an unimaginable crisis. Her youngest son, Tommy, was diagnosed with a rare illness that eluded doctors, leaving them stumped and her heart heavy with doubt. Amidst whispers of despair, Sarah prayed fervently for guidance. Every night, she sat in silence with her family, scripture open before her, seeking comfort. It was then that she stumbled upon the teachings of Neville Goddard, a man whose ideas danced around the edges of reality and belief. "You must feel that you already have what you desire," he proclaimed. Could it really be that her imagination held the key? In the stillness, she felt a resonating warmth, an invitation to dream beyond the horizon of despair. One candle at evening, as the world outside darkened, Sarah held her son's hand and prayed to St. Jude, who stood as a beacon for desperate cases. The flickering flames cast an ethereal glow, illuminating their living room. With every whispered prayer, she felt an electric buzz in the air. Hope swirled like incense, mingling with her fears. Could it be that her faith, her community's faith, could draw down a miracle from the heavens? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The next Sunday, Sarah climbed the steps of the church, her heart racing with conviction. She shared her newfound insights with the congregation. "We must envision our miracles together," she exclaimed, her voice echoing off the stone walls. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. Was it bold? Absolutely. Could their imaginations become reality? The air thickened with anticipation as villagers contemplated a new frontier of faith. Gathered in the church hall, they closed their eyes, meditative quiet filling the sacred space. With every breath, hope ascended higher, and as Sarah prayed, a moment unfolded. Her heart soared into the light, revealing a vision of Tommy, whole and filled with joy, laughter enveloping them. She struggled to remain grounded as a warmth overtook her, connecting her to the divine. Yet, as Sarah rose to share, skepticism shadowed the villagers' faces. "Can faith turn the tides?" some murmured, doubt clinging like morning mist. Yet just then, a subtle change rippled through Tommy's condition. A flicker of healing began to spark. In that moment, Sarah knew the truth hovered in the balance. Her faith could light the path from disbelief to wonder. The village stood poised between doubt and hope, their hearts thumping as they awaited the divine response they had desperately prayed for. Would they unlock the miraculous? Or would they be left with a lesson that cut closer to home? The air was thick with possibility, and every soul in the room felt it. The weight of faith trembled on the edge of a miracle. As the days turned into weeks, the village of Eldon Grove remained a landscape of uncertainty. The sun traced arcs in the sky, casting gentle shadows, but within Sarah's home, hope flickered like a candle clinging to its flame. Each evening brought with it a ritual of prayer, the family united in purpose, creating a steady channel for their whispers to reach the heavens. Sarah could feel the mounting anticipation. She could almost hear it hum in the walls of the church, mixing with the scent of lavender and the soft rustle of prayer cards. In her heart, Sarah believed that the vision she had felt, the one of Tommy free and joyful, was not merely a dream. It was a promise. But with each passing day, the doubts of the villagers wove themselves tighter around her visions, constricting her resolve. Their initial fervor began to wane. Only a few stood firm, clutching tightly to faith like a lifeline. Sarah felt the weight of their waning spirits. Their hesitation became a crack in her own belief. Had she asked too much of them? On a chilly morning, she found herself back in the church, the wooden pews empty and echoes of past prayers lingering like soft whispers. She approached the altar, her heart heavy yet hopeful. In the silence, she lifted her hands to the heavens. "Lord, grant me strength. I believe in your promises, but I need my community to believe as well. The stillness was palpable, as if the universe held its breath. Suddenly, she felt a nudge and knowingness that transcendence was always present, even among the clouds of doubt. The pastor's verses replayed in her mind, words that once ignited hope. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It clicked. Perhaps the villagers needed to see more than just words, they needed to witness something miraculous unfold in their midst. That Sunday, Sarah approached her congregation with a renewed fire. Brothers and sisters, we stand on the precipice of a miracle. Each prayer we utter, every moment we visualize, we set forth a chain reaction. We have the power to shape our reality. Eyes widened, and there were nods of acknowledgement. For a fleeting moment, the air shifted. Faith infused the hearts of the villagers like rays piercing through dark clouds. They dabbed a collective inkling of belief once more, revitalized by her burning conviction. Close your eyes, Sarah encouraged them gently. As everyone complied, she guided them through a vivid meditation. Picture Tommy laughing, running freely beneath the sunlight. Feel the joy. Picture it as vividly as you can. The room became a sanctuary of shared vision, their combined energy rising like a tide, lifting them all. But just as the warmth enveloped them, doubt crept back. One voice broke through the silence. What if it doesn't happen? The energy momentarily waned, but Sarah pressed on. What if it does? She countered, her voice steady. Sparks of life ignited as she spoke of their ancestors' faith, the countless miracles woven into the fabric of their village's history. The congregation began to murmur among themselves, reflecting. They were not just witnesses, but participants in the unfolding mystery. Despite the challenge, hope surged anew. She led them in passionate prayer, with each heart beating in synchrony, calling out for healing, for miracles, for the unexpected. As prayers rose, Sarah felt a shift in the atmosphere, thick and electric. They ended with a triumphant amen, a sound that resonated throughout Elden Grove, answering the call of all they had envisioned. Yet, beneath it all, Sarah sensed another layer of the divine truth manifesting, whispering a sacred secret in her heart. Would this be the moment they broke through the veil of doubt? Or was there still something deeper waiting to be revealed? The divine mystery loomed just beyond their reach, a promise that echoed in their hearts, a tantalizing promise of the miraculous just around the corner. The following week dawned with a feeling of expectancy hanging in the air. Birds chirped in harmonious melody, blending with the distant sounds of the river. While Sarah prepared for the day ahead, her heart danced with a knowing whisper. Something was shifting. The villagers gathered at the church would not just come to pray, they would come to witness. The promise of the miraculous loomed like a radiant dawn, yet there was still fear nestled among their hearts. As the sun streamed through stained glass, patterns of color flickered across the congregation, bathing faces in shades of gold and blue. Sarah stood before them, charged with an urgency that felt almost electrifying. She could see the faint traces of doubt in their eyes, yet there was a spark of hope beginning to flicker anew. My dear friends, she began, her voice smooth yet firm. Last week, we ignited something beautiful together. We shined light into the shadows of doubt. Now, we must keep that fire alive. To truly believe in the miracle we seek, we must silence the what-ifs and embrace the what is coming. The murmurs rippled through the crowd like the breeze that brushed against the trees outside, igniting a flurry of conversations. Faces expressed curiosity, hesitation, and a flicker of belief. Sarah could sense that this was more than mere faith, it was a stirring of the spirit. It was a deep yearning to grasp what they couldn't yet see. Let us call out to our Creator, not just in words but with all the power within us. Picture it. She encouraged. Visualize Tommy as he runs toward us, feel our hearts unite with his laughter, the joy of reunion. Tension in the air began to dissolve. Eyes were gently closed as they focused and began to paint their shared vision. The room filled with an unknowable warmth, a palpable presence that wrapped around the congregation like an embrace. It was as if the boundaries separating them from the divine were thinning, rendering the miraculous closer to their reach. As Sarah led them deeper into their visualization, a flicker of doubt emerged in her own heart, threatening to disrupt the harmony they had begun to create. Would this truly result in a miracle, or were they simply chasing shadows? Yet, as those thoughts crept in, a profound realization washed over her, a reminder from the depths of her being. The words of her childhood pastor echoed, Faith lives in the unseen. With renewed strength, she forged ahead. When we pray together, we weld our hearts into one. The unseen, it draws close. We can have faith in the action of it. Just then, the church doors creaked open, allowing a gust of wind to sweep through, filling the space with the soft scent of flowers blooming outside. The villagers gasped softly, their heads turning toward the entrance. An unexpected sensation flooded the room, an electricity that hinted at the sacred. Sarah could feel the air thicken with anticipation, summoning a sense that they were not alone in their prayers. "Venture forth, let hope engulf you," she whispered. "What if our combined faith changes everything? What if today is the day we see the glory of the Lord unveiled?" Each heart resonated with her words, and suddenly, a child in the front row clutched her hand, eyes sparkling with innocence and trust. "I believe he is coming," the child declared boldly, her words ringing out clearly in the sacred space. This child's faith was untainted by the adult world's doubts, and at that moment, a hush fell over the room. Each heart beat with newfound resolve, reigniting the belief simmering beneath the surface. They were all reminded the essence of faith is not the absence of doubt but the choice to believe, regardless. As the communal prayer surged forth, Sarah felt the energy swirl around them, and she cloaked herself in it. "We are weaving a future together," she breathed, her spirit soaring, yet deep within, a question stirred: would they witness the proof of their faith? Or, perhaps, there was a grander design playing out in the shadows of their hearts as the congregation finished their prayers, an undeniable tension enveloped them. Could the day carry a promise of revelation? Or was there a deeper mystery waiting to be uncovered? It felt like destiny itself was hovering just beyond their grasp, urging them to journey onward. The air grew thick with expectancy, a sense of collective anticipation vibrating through the hearts gathered in the church. As if sensing the transformation stirring just beneath the surface, the villagers sat in a sacred unity, eyes bright with renewed determination. The natural world outside seemed to hold its breath, nature harmonizing with their faith. "Think of the miracles," Sarah encouraged, her voice a soft crescendo amidst the stillness. "Consider the impossible made possible. Each breath we take today is an invitation for the divine." A few minutes passed, each heartbeat echoing the prayerful calling for Tommy. The gentle hum from their hearts resonated, vibrating through the very bones of the church. Hope wrapped around them like a soft, warm blanket. Suddenly, a soft, radiant light appeared in the corner of the sanctuary, the sort of light that draws you in, compelling you to look closer. It flickered and danced, shimmering through the wooden beams above them. Whispers spread like wildfire among the congregation as heads turned, each face a canvas of wonder. Their hearts raced, minds swirling with questions. Was this the start of something miraculous? "That light, it's a sign," shouted one villager, breaking the tension. Others nodded, eyes widening in understanding. Sarah felt a stirring of courage burning within her. This was their moment to lean deeper into belief. "Yes. A manifestation of our faith," she replied, her words reverberating with certainty. "It is the promise we've been waiting for, the evidence that our prayers are being heard." Slowly, the light intensified, wrapping around the congregation like a divine caress. Gasps of awe filled the air. Children pointed, laughter mingling with quiet reverence. In that instant, fear unraveled itself, and hope surged forward, strong and vibrant. Each villager dared to lean into the light, feeling its warmth spill over their spirits. As they marveled together, the light dimmed momentarily, and Sarah felt an unmistakable shift in the atmosphere. Like the turning of a page, something began to unfold within her heart. She sensed three things rise within her: faith, joy, and possibility. "Can you feel it?" Sarah asked, her heart racing. "This light is not just a spectacle, it is a promise that our prayers have been heard and that we are part of a greater plan." "Yes," echoed a voice from the crowd. "We are gathered for a purpose." Tears began to well in Sarah's eyes, the kind that accompany breathtaking encounters with the divine. "Today, let this light spark our faith into action. Let it compel us to seek out the truth behind our longing for miracles." She stepped forward, drawing strength from the collective belief radiating around her. Let us unite, as one body, and give praise. Picture Tommy running to us once again. Imagine the joy that will fill our hearts. And as she spoke, more villagers joined hands, voices intertwining like an exquisite tapestry. The room reverberated with their chorus of hope, filling every crack and corner until it overflowed, spilling out into the beautiful world beyond the church walls. Yet, even amidst the laughter and joyous sound, a lingering question danced in Sarah's heart. Would the light reveal more than they expected? They stood on the edge of a cosmic breakthrough, but what awaited them just beyond this glimpse of divine wonder? Could this awakening lead them to Tommy? The congregation pulsed with life, all waiting together, faces aglow with both anticipation and a little fear, as they prepared to step deeper into divine mystery. What would be unveiled in this shared journey of faith? As the chorus rose again, the air thickened with promise. The moment hung in the air, thick with hope and eager anticipation. The congregation continued to hold hands, the warmth of their united spirits flowing around them like an invisible thread, binding hearts together. They leaned deeper into the light, absorbing its glow, letting it resonate within their very souls. With each passing moment, the light pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat, and Sarah could feel her own heartbeat sync with it. The world outside the church faded away, overshadowed by this divine presence. What if the light speaks? She pondered silently. What if it carries a message for us? The melody of their voices created a sacred symphony, sweeping through the church like a balm. Joy bubbled over like a fountain, mingling with the air. Murmurs of faith filled the sanctuary, rising like incense toward the heavens, each word a tiny prayer sent forth with hope. Suddenly, a stillness fell upon them, a sacred silence that felt both heavy and light, as if the universe itself had paused to listen. Faces turned toward the light, wide-eyed, pulses quickening. It was within this hushed moment that a figure stepped forth, cloaked in the radiance emanating from the corner. "Tommy?" A villager whispered, but it was greeted only with silence. The figure stood still, absorbing the light, becoming one with its essence. "Behold." A voice broke the reverent hush, a strong yet gentle sound. "Your faith has brought forth what you seek." Gasps scattered through the congregation, electrifying the air. Sarah's breath caught, and she felt a profound shift within her. The light had now taken on a shape. It seemed alive, brimming with purpose. Yet, no clear image of Tommy emerged, just an energy that vibrated with the very fibers of hope and love. "What is it you wish to understand?" The voice continued, echoing through the air like a warm embrace. "Let faith guide your vision, let love be your anchor." The villagers looked to one another, searching for answers hidden in shared glances. The air tingled with questions, with desires half-formed and unspoken. Sarah's heart raced, the longing for Tommy still fresh within her spirit. Could this be a revelation that would lead them closer? "Together, ask what you seek," the voice urged, weaving through their thoughts. "Sow seeds of faith and you shall reap the harvest of miracles." The congregation began to murmur, united in their desires. "We seek healing. We seek reunion. We seek answers." Each prayer rose like a halo of light, merging into a single wave of intention, carried on the gentle winds of faith. In that instant, the atmosphere shifted again. The light swirled, reflecting the emotions of the villagers' yearning, love, sorrow, hope. It danced above them like a protective canopy, shimmering brightly as if affirming their pleas. But even as they surrendered to their wishes, Sarah sensed a deeper truth beneath it all. What if the answer was not what they had expected? Was this not just about their want for Tommy, but about something greater, uncovering their own strength, and learning to stand in their own faith? As their hearts pounded in sync with the rhythm of the assembly, Sarah raised her voice amidst the din. "What does this mean for us? How do we move forward? What is our mission in this moment?" The light dimmed slightly, and the figure grew clearer, yet still shrouded in a veil of divine mystery. "Your journey has just begun. Keep your hearts open, for the answers will unfold in ways you cannot yet comprehend." Just as that thought settled within her, warmth enveloped the church again, and for a brief moment, every soul connected as one. Would they discover their true calling in this divine encounter? What awaited them in the depths of their newfound faith? As anticipation thrummed through the space, the figure began to shimmer and fade, leaving Sarah and the villagers hanging on the brink of revelation, ready to embark on a journey far deeper than they had ever imagined. The light began to pulse again, brighter this time, scattering like stars across the walls of the church. Sarah felt a warmth envelop her heart, nudging her to listen closely. The last words echoed in her mind, "Keep your hearts open." A sense of urgency danced among the villagers as they grasped each other's hands tighter, forming a chain of faith. "Is this really our moment?" someone whispered, their voice laced with wonder. The atmosphere thrummed with a shared heartbeat, an electric anticipation that crackled in the air. "Remember," the figure's voice floated gently, reverberating like a sweet melody, "your greatest desire is intertwined with your true purpose. The answers you seek lie not only in the light before you, but also within each of you." The congregation leaned forward, captivated. Each face reflected the glimmer of divine connection igniting within them. What was it that truly resided in their hearts? As the thoughts tumbled through Sarah's mind, she felt the figure intensify, and the air thickened with possibility. "Together, you possess a power you cannot yet understand," the voice continued. "You are not vessels of solitude, but instruments of hope acquire whose harmony can reach beyond these walls. Your cries for Tommy echo through the universe, but what if your real calling is to uplift each other?" Tears pricked the corners of Sarah's eyes. This was not only about longing for Tommy, it was about becoming a source of light for one another, a beacon in the darkness. She exchanged glances with others, sensing an understanding blooming among them, a realization that their hearts shared a collective echo, a mission to bring healing and hope into the world. "Ask yourselves," the figure urged, the light now swirling gracefully around them like a divine dance, "what can you give rather than seek? How can your love create miracles where despair once reigned?" The voice wrapped around their minds, tangling them in a web of profound reflection. Sarah felt the impact of each question sink deep within. They had gathered to seek, yes, but what if their true mission was to sow the seeds of faith for others? Around her, people began to murmur again, but now it was laced with inspiration. "We will bring light to our neighbors," one young woman declared, her voice rising above the rest. "We will nurture our community with love and support." Excitement swelled in the room as voices blended, breaking into a chorus of promises and intentions. "We stand together," another declared. "We will create a garden of faith." Each declaration seemed to fuel the light, making it dance anew. It flickered joyfully, reflecting the hearts that had opened wide. With every vow, they embraced a beautiful truth: strength thrived in unity, and through love, they could untangle the coils of despair. The figure, now shimmering faintly, offered one final message. "This journey requires courage. As you step forward, know that I am with you. Keep your hearts aligned, and watch the miracles unfold. The unseen threads of your desires are weaving together for a purpose greater than you can fathom." With that, the figure merged back into the radiant light, leaving the congregation pulsating with an electrifying sense of purpose. As Sarah stood there, a mixture of exhilaration and uncertainty swirled within. What awaited them? What would they discover as they pursued this new calling? The church hummed with a divine energy, and Sarah felt the sacred winds of change. Their journey may have only just begun, but one thing was clear: they were destined for something extraordinary. What would unfold next in their quest to embody hope for the world around them? Would they become the very light they sought? The air was thick with anticipation as the villagers remained rooted in their sacred circle. The dimly lit church, once simply a place of worship, now felt like the very heart of God's promise. With renewed energy sparking within them, Sarah could feel the warmth of connection growing stronger, stronger than the fear and doubt that had plagued them. A gentle breeze seemed to stir through the aisles, lifting hair and fabric alike as if caressing each person present. Sarah looked around and saw faces lit with excitement, eyes shimmering with an expectant hope. In this moment, they were not just individuals, they were threads weaving a vibrant tapestry of faith together. A man named Thomas, known for his reserved nature, stepped forward from the crowd. His voice shook slightly, but his intent was clear. "What if we don't know how to serve? How can we bring this love to our community when we feel so lost ourselves?" His brow furrowed in honest inquiry, echoing the fear that many held quietly inside. There was a stillness, a hush among the congregation, as Sarah pondered his words. It felt as if they were standing at the edge of a precipice, and the world beyond awaited them. Yet, uncertainty wrapped around them like a heavy blanket. Sarah, feeling the fire in her heart, decided to speak. I think we start small. Love is in the smallest gestures, isn't it? What if we simply listen? Just being there for someone who needs us. Her voice lifted, finding strength in vulnerability. Maybe that's how we share the light. The people around her nodded, their breath catching in agreement. Soft murmurs began to fill the space, each one adding fuel to the flickering flames of inspiration. Listening helps us understand. A smile is an invitation to warmth. A kind word can change a heart. Someone else chimed in. As their ideas circulated, the energy in the church shone brighter. The light shimmered in resonance with their intentions, swirling and deepening, as if the very walls were nodding to encourage them. Yes. Our community has so many needs: loneliness, grief, even small acts of kindness can mean the world. A woman's voice rang out, fierce with passion. Then, another voice raised in spontaneity, let us start a food drive. We can gather meals for those who struggle. And a support group for those grieving. We can share our stories. Came another declaration, each idea sparking the next like firewood feeding a flame. Sarah watched as the congregation began to transform. Fear and doubt were replaced by hope and purpose. Hearts that had once been heavy now felt lighter. With every shared thought, they were stitching their pain into a mission of collective healing. Remember, Sarah urged, gently but firmly. We are not to carry these burdens alone. Let us live our faith, not just in our words but in our actions. As they passionately discussed the ways to uplift their neighbors, a soft glow enveloped them, almost as if the universe was responding to their unified intentions. Sarah could sense that something greater was unfolding. It struck her as if every heartbeat was an echo of a promise, a new chapter waiting to be written together. As the final excitement settled, a hush fell again. The radiant light shifted one last time, pulling their attention back to the empty space where the figure had been. It felt as though an unseen watchful presence still lingered, urging them forward. Now, how do we begin? She asked softly. In unison, hands clasped tight, a collective breath was drawn. There, in the quiet aftermath, a question lingered in the air. What would their first steps look like as they ventured out into the world, transformed by this divine calling? Would their budding mission flourish, and in doing so, would they discover the true potential that had always resided within them? The stillness was deep as the congregation steadied their hearts. It was a moment cloaked in both vulnerability and courage. Sarah gazed at her friends, each face vibrant with enthusiasm yet lined with uncertainty. She sensed that the time for action was upon them. What if, she ventured, drawing the eyes of those closest to her, we take the first step today? We don't need to have everything figured out, we just need to begin. Nods of agreement rippled through the group, and slowly, hesitant smiles emerged. It was clear this was a collective moment of rebirth. As they brainstormed ideas, Sarah felt a wave of energy wash over her, filling her with confidence. Let us meet every week, she proposed, to share our progress, to encourage one another. We will build something beautiful together. The voices grew louder as excitement surged through them. What if we make it a potluck? A woman suggested. Food has a way of bringing people together, doesn't it? Another chimed, we can invite everyone. Neighbors, friends, let us spread the word. The ideas melded and morphed, a divine symphony building upon each note. Each suggestion was imbued with purpose, each pledge a promise of their intent to serve. Anxiety lifted like mist in the morning sun, replaced by a gentle resolve. Suddenly, Thomas stood again, this time with a palpable energy coursing through him. I know it seems small, he began, but what if we simply took a few moments each week to pray for those in our community? They might not know they need it, but God does. That suggestion resonated deeply. Silence fell as they absorbed the profound simplicity of it. Prayer, an invisible yet powerful act, could unify their intentions and direct their focus toward those who needed it most. Let us pray together right now, Sarah suggested, her voice steady. For strength, for wisdom for the hearts in our village. As they closed their eyes and joined hands, the atmosphere shifted. The air thickened with a sacred presence, as if the walls themselves bowed in reverence. Sarah could feel the warmth of the divine wrapping around them, urging them to be bolder, to be more loving. Words flowed easily as each person offered heartfelt prayers, some discreet, others fervent. Sarah felt her own words rise within her, thanking God for this gathering, for the promise of what was to come. She prayed that their hearts would be open and their ears attuned to the whispers of those in pain. The weight of their collective voices filled the room like golden light, illuminating each corner with divine grace. New opportunities began to stir, intertwining their hopes with God's boundless love. When they finished, the air seemed lighter, infused with anticipation. Sarah opened her eyes to see a tapestry of faith woven together, a community ready to step into the world and be the change they wished to see. Now, she said, her voice soft but filled with a quiet intensity, we have our first mission. Let us write the invitation for our potluck. They gathered around a table, pens in hand, hearts full. But as they began crafting their message, an unexpected noise from outside drew their attention. There, just beyond the church doors, stood one of their neighbors, Linda, a solitary figure, face etched with sorrow. The congregation fell silent, the unease flowing back into the space. Would this encounter shift the course of their plans? How would they respond to her unspoken need? Sarah felt her heart quicken, sensing that God was about to reveal something profound through this moment. The possibilities felt infinite, but so did the weight of the unknown. What urgent need called for their newfound mission right now, and how might this very moment turn into an unexpected blessing? A soft breeze wafted through the open doors, bringing with it the scent of early spring flowers. The sun cast a warm glow on Linda as she hesitated at the threshold. Sarah could see the shadows of burdens resting on her shoulders, and a wave of compassion surged within her. Linda, Sarah called gently, her voice inviting, come in. We were just about to plan our community potluck. Linda took a tentative step forward, her eyes reflecting a mix of relief and trepidation. As she entered, the feeling of warmth enveloped her like a soft blanket. The congregation was still, each member focusing on her as if she were the missing note that would complete their melody. What has been weighing on your heart? A man from the back called out softly. His voice, a tender encouragement, broke the silence. Linda's lips trembled slightly. I don't know if I should share, she said, glancing down. Please, we are here for you, another voice urged. You're among friends. Slowly, she gathered her thoughts, her gaze lifting to meet the eager eyes of those around her. My daughter, she's been having such a hard time lately. She feels alone, lost in a world that seems to forget about her. I've tried everything I can think of, but I'm at a loss. An ache filled the room. The hearts present echoed Linda's pain, an unspoken understanding threading through their collective sorrow. Sarah felt the stirring of the spirit urging them toward action. Perhaps we could pray for her together, Sarah suggested, feeling the tremble of hope rising in her chest. Let us cover her in the warmth of our love and prayer. The group nodded in agreement, and the gentle sound of voices joined together once more, this time in fervent intercession for Linda's daughter. With each petition, the weight of prayer lifted, creating a sense of unity that transcended individual struggles. In those moments, a divine revelation began to unfurl. The power of community flooded through Sarah's heart. Individual struggles transformed when shared, burdens lightened when carried together. As the prayers flowed, she sensed that they were not merely asking for help, they were declaring divine intervention over Linda's family, inviting God's healing grace into their lives. When they finished, Linda looked visibly lighter. Her face, once clouded with worry, now held a glimmer of peace. Thank you, she whispered, tears brightening her eyes. Just knowing I'm not alone makes a world of difference. Everyone needs a brother or sister in faith, Thomas said, his voice warm and reassuring. Let us get back to planning our potluck, Sarah said, a spark igniting in her heart. This is just the beginning. If we can spread love and support like this with Linda, imagine what we can do for others in our community too. Encouraged by the spirit of action, Sarah and her friends dove back into crafting their message, their hands moving with purpose. They envisioned tables laden with food, laughter echoing through the halls, and discussions full of warmth and understanding. It was to be a celebration of faith and fellowship, but suddenly, a loud thump echoed from outside, breaking the lively energy within. All heads turned once more toward the door, hearts racing. Who or what could be causing such a disturbance, and what urgent need waited just beyond their doors now? Sarah felt the familiar pulse of anticipation return, a calling from the divine. What other surprises did God have in store for them? As the sun dipped low over Eldon Grove, the congregation remained vibrant, hearts ignited with purpose. Just moments ago, they faced one another with eager anticipation, yet now a ripple of concern traced through the air. The loud thump had captured their collective attention, drawing them back to the threshold where their neighbor, Linda, stood bathed in the warm light of compassion. Uncertainty flickered in everyone's hearts, yet faith lingered on the cusp of transformation. "Shall we see what awaits us?" Sarah spoke gently, her voice encouraging and steady. "Let us step forward together." She took a step toward the door, and with her, the congregation surged, filled with curious strength. As they gathered at the opening, the scent of blooming flowers flooded the air, mingling with the whispers of evening. A hush enveloped them as they pushed the doors wider. There, amid the garden of blooming daisies, was a young child, no older than 5, kneeling beside a fallen tree branch. Tears streaked down her cheeks, and her small hands clutched a battered stuffed animal. The room fell quiet, hearts aching at the sight. "What is wrong, little one?" Sarah knelt near the girl, concern etching her features as she drew closer. "They said I can't go home until I fix it," the child whimpered, pointing to the pile of twigs and branches scattered around her feet. "I wanted to make a house for my kitten, but it broke." Compassion welled in Sarah's heart, as she exchanged glances with the villagers beside her, understanding dawning like the first light of dawn. This was their opportunity not just to help one child, but to reveal their commitment to uplifting their community, to step into the light they had just been so fervently discussing. "Let us help her together," Thomas exclaimed, his voice cutting through the silence. The congregation responded with a chorus of agreement, excitement bubbling anew. "We'll build her a new home." As if entirely intertwined with the divine purpose bubbling in their midst, a wave of energy surged through the group. They fell into motion, hands reaching out, forming a circle of love around the girl and her troubles. Sarah rallied the villagers with newfound fervor. "Gather whatever you can. Twigs, leaves, and even those bits of string. Anything we can use." Each heart was set ablaze as they eagerly scoured the yard, collecting fragments of nature's bounty. Voices harmonized in joyous laughter, children bounding to help their elders, elders guiding with open hearts, care woven into their movements. Before long, an enchanting structure began to take form. With twigs nestled together and dried petals creating a marvelous roof, the child's eyes widened with awe. "Look! It's beautiful!" she gasped, her tears replaced by an enthralling smile. The effort of the congregation had breathed life into hope. As they finished, Sarah knelt beside the child once more, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Always remember," she spoke softly, "that love creates miracles. When we come together, we can weave resilience from every challenge." In that moment, as joy radiated like bright sunshine, they all felt the shift their calling was blossoming before their eyes. They weren't just a church, they were a community of hope. With the child's laughter echoing in their hearts, they returned indoors, ignited by their small act of kindness. Every villager now felt a stirring within. A mission was emerging. Their potluck would now extend beyond just food, it would be a celebration of connection. But there was more. A resounding conviction filled Sarah's heart. This wasn't solely about their immediate needs. They had witnessed hope unfold, and their purpose expanded in the light of God's invitation. United again, they formed a vibrant circle. "Let us open our arms wide," Sarah declared. "Not just for ourselves, but for every soul in our village and beyond. We can touch lives, lift spirits, and inspire hope where it's been stamped out." The group stood electrified by this new vision, fueled by compassionate radiance. They spent the next moments drafting heartfelt invitations, detailing not just a meal but promises of love and support. They envisioned families sitting together, neighbors sharing burdens, and hearts finding home in each other's warmth. "This is only the beginning," Sarah proclaimed, her voice steady and full of fervor. What we have ignited today must sizzle throughout Eldon Grove. A prayer gathering, a knitting circle, a food drive, let us be the light leading our community back to their sense of belonging. And so, under the golden glow of a setting sun, the villagers embraced a newfound purpose, their hearts thudded like a sacred drum, guiding them toward unfolding miracles waiting to be birthed. As they clasped their hands one last time, the air swirled with electrifying energy. Lord, grant us wisdom, they intoned in chorus. Let our hearts be open and our spirits bold. Let our faith bring forth each miracle. Together, Sarah concluded, sensing the divine plan weaving intricately around their purpose. The promise of transformation hung heavy in the air, awaiting their next step as light faded gently, but hope burned brighter than ever before. As their journey continued, the village had begun to reawaken, to rise together. The last rays of sunlight filtered through the church windows, and in that sacred space, their souls united, ready to unveil the miraculous in every corner of their lives. Are you feeling the calling? Join us on this journey of faith. You need to subscribe now so you won't miss out on more exclusive stories of transformation and divine manifestation. This is the moment to show your support by leaving a like. It feeds the algorithm and brings faith stories to those seeking hope. Please comment your thoughts and stories as we continue to walk this path together. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of love and hope in action. Let us ignite hope everywhere.